What is the most embarrassing situation you've been in? Went surfing in some fairly cold water, about 64 degrees or so for a couple of hours. When I finally got tired and decided to come in, I was sitting on the beach in my board shorts with my knees up, resting my elbows on top. People kept walking by and giggling and laughing in my general direction, but I couldn't figure out why. About 20 minutes of this pass as I'm sitting on the beach trying to warm in the sun, when I notice a slight breeze down below. I figured it was a little chilly because of the board shorts, but as I reached down to make an adjustment to the junk, I discovered that I have a gaping tear in my board shorts. I had split them down the middle from the top of the Velcro zipper down to halfway up my ass. So, for the past 20 minutes or so, I've had my cold water shrivel completely hanging out with my legs split open and me popped up on the sand in perfect view. Joy. Your story contradicts your username. Sounds like you achieved complete freedom. This isn't bad like the others, but still pretty embarrassing for myself. I had just arrived in Sydney and it was my first day of work. I was running around the city and super excited to be in this brand new place. I was about to cross the big intersection, which was packed. Rush hour. I tripped on the sidewalk and fell forward. Instinctively, I grabbed onto the man walking in front of me. I grabbed onto his shirt, ripping it as I fell, and then grabbing onto his belt. The belt wasn't tight enough, so I managed to pull his boxers down with me. This bloke was in his mid-40s and angry as hell. So here I am, lying face down in the middle of the crosswalk, still holding onto this businessman's ripped shirts, pants, and boxers. All his junk was hanging out. It took me a few seconds to realize what had just happened. By this time, cars were honking, people were yelling, and we were holding up traffic. I managed to get up, help him put his pants up, and then ran as fast as I could. I sprinted into the closest 7-Eleven I could find and stayed there for a good hour. My first and only attempted layup was in the 8th grade. A clear path to the basket. I was running so fast I forgot to position myself to curve towards the basket. Panicked, I threw the ball at the backboard, which obviously just bounced the ball straight back towards midcourt, slammed straight into the retracted bleachers that were a good 5 feet back from the basket, and fell, spread eagle, on my back. I immediately started laughing at my mythical fail, and so was the rest of the class, which contained 3 past crushes and my current crush, with whom I was not friends yet. It took the teacher 5 minutes to get the game going again. I refused to participate in gym for 3 classes after that, before regaining a small sliver of my dignity. As it turns out, the next unit was wrestling, and I was pretty damn good at it, so I felt a little better. It figures, the gayest thing we did in the gym would be the one at which I excel. Haha, I always sucked at basketball and hated it so much. Then I became a silver medalist at the Canada Cup International Wrestling Tournament. I was in the marching band in high school. After a parade, I made the long walk across a park to my parents' car with my trombone. A school bus was riding alongside me slowly, due to traffic, and a kid yelled out from the bus, "Hey, dork." I resisted the urge to look. "Hey, dork, dork, you dropped something." I kept walking, head down. "Dork, you dropped something." Suddenly, a woman comes running up behind me and says, "Excuse me, you dropped this," and hands me the slide of my trombone, which I didn't lock into place before walking across the park. I muttered a thanks, and here, "I was just trying to help you, dork." Had a go at the show of strength machine. Hit a lever with a mallet, dong the bell, and win a prize. At the local village fete. Tried to hit the lever, particularly hard to impress local hottie. Missed lever entirely. Mallet carries on an arc trajectory at speed. Mallet travels between legs, forcing me to let go. Mallet hits the guide dog of a blind man behind me. I make tactical retreat. You missed the lever and the ground? When I was 6, I had a problem cleaning myself thoroughly after dropping a deuce. The fix was for me to come outside, bend over, spread 'em, and ask Mom, am I clean? Well, a month into the school year, I had to go drop a deuce at school. I raise my hand, ask permission, go to the bathroom. That was at the back of the classroom, shared between 2 classrooms. Then, penguin waddled out with my pants around my ankles, in the middle of some kind of class. Turn around, spread my cheeks and ask, am I clean? In a loud voice. Yeah, that story follows me to this day. When I was in the 4th grade, I watched a lot of DBZ because I thought it was awesome. Some guys were picking on me and my friend a lot. It happened for a long time. Anyway, one day I snapped. But instead of fighting them or doing anything physical, I tried to go Super Saiyan. I did the whole yelling and tried to power up. I even posed. I kept trying to do it, but it wasn't working. It still succeeded because those kids got out of there because they thought I was crazy. The 3rd grade teacher didn't let me use the restroom, so I shat in class. Everyone saw. The teacher let me go whenever I pleased from then on. I was at a Taekwondo Parents Appreciation event when I was a kid because I was taking Taekwondo lessons. Anyway, every student had to come on stage and say something nice. Being a terrible public speaker at 10 years old, I stuttered, then ended up crying in front of everyone. Yeah, pathetic. I tried to go Super Saiyan, I did the whole yelling and tried to power up, I even posed. This is the most awesome thing I will read all day. I caught myself on fire, messing with bottle rockets. I had to rip my burning clothes off while the neighbors watched and did nothing to help. It was a long walk of shame back to the house to get my wife to take me to the ER. Wife? I was hoping it was a juvenile mistake. I can be immature. I was working on a 5-man dry ice industrial cleaning crew. It's similar to sandblasting and pressure washing. The main difference is that the dry ice evaporates, leaving nothing behind. So it's cleaner and a bit more expensive. We were at a factory in Niagara Falls. Some sort of rubber or car tire manufacturer. I want to say Goodyear, but I honestly don't remember anymore. I'm spraying the ceiling, removing mold and some sort of deposit along a trough that chemicals run through. I step back on the scissor lift. My boot catches on hose. I trip and fall backwards, and the nozzle arcs right by the sprinkler for the fire suppression system. I stopped, stared at it for about 5 seconds, thinking everything was going to be all right. Then the glass bulb breaks and boom, fire alarms. These pipes fill with water once, then are left until they are set off. After sitting there for 40+ years, the water was disgusting. Literally just black thing. The entire portion of the factory was covered in this black thing. Not to mention when a fire alarm goes off, the entire factory has to be shut down. And that wing evacuated. I don't know how much money they lost, but this happened around noon, and they were still shut down at 7 p.m. when we left for the day. If your most embarrassing moment of your life is having caused an accident, made worse because a factory didn't maintain its sprinkler system, you are incredibly lucky. If only we could swap. My wife and I lived in a small town, a few miles out a dead-end road, on several wooded acres and the wildlife that goes along with that. One night she came inside to tell me that once again our dog had encountered with a skunk. With prior experience, we knew what to do and both swung into action. She started opening canned tomato juice to scrub the smell away, and I gathered the bucket and brushes, and most important, stripped down to underwear so the rest of my clothes would not have to be destroyed. Outdoors, the dog was acting berserk from the olfactory overload. Seeing preparations being made for a doggy bath didn't help. She made a break for it, and I started running to catch her. The road was about 100 feet from our house, and it was dark out, so I didn't pay attention to the automobile that came along just then. We had another dozen or so families further along towards the end of the road, and at that time of night, a couple of our neighbors per hour driving past would be normal. It wasn't a neighbor though. Somebody had made a wrong turn and chose my driveway to turn around and go back. Their headlights suddenly swept into my yard and illuminated a running man in his underwear chasing and catching a large hysterical dog. Whoever it was, they left pretty quickly. Tomatoes do nothing to remove the smell, just temporarily mask it. Baking soda mixed with hydrogen peroxide, however, works wonders.